Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World. Today I want to show you how I made this sort of bridge or U-fold card. It's called Either, and I've used the lovely little Snowman season and made a wee inky scape at the back there, which I'm going to show you how to do during this. It's a great wee card. It'll fold flat, it'll fit into our envelopes, or Stampin' Up envelopes, so it's nice and easy to post and nothing real bulky to cost you a fortune at Christmas time. You have space at the back that you can add a personalised verse for Christmas to the person you're sending it to, and it's basically very simple really. I'm sure you've made them before, so we'll have a wee go at it anyway. So what you need to start you off is the Snowman season and poinsettia petals is the two stamp sets we're using. We're using this wee bit here to decorate all those berries around the edge. And we're using the Sentiment Let It Snow and this wee quirky snowman here. So to start you off, you're going to need a piece of card, and it needs to be 8 inches by 4 1/4. You need a piece of the Wisp of White card, roughly 6 inches wide by whatever length you want, because you're actually going to tear a rough edge on for the snowy edge at the front. I've went ahead and stamped up 2 of the wee snowmen to decorate the outside, and you also need a circle to stamp your, we'll just do that now, actually we'll have it out. So use your 2-inch punch, stamp your Let It Snow, use your 2-inch punch to go where you think it's nice and central there. Punch that out. And you want to attach it to a piece of the matching card, which is Bermuda Bay. I nearly forgot the name of it there. So just put a bit of glue on that and attach it to the edge of your card, leaving a nice border. Let's get that bit off my glue here. Come on. Add a bit of ink to the back of that. Set it up so that you have a bit of room at the bottom, giving you a nice wee border, and a bit of room for your actual punch to punch around it, and just settle that where you're happy. And then get your 2 1/4 inch punch, your circle punch, and just slide it in there and line it up so that you're happy with the overall look of it. And that leaves you a nice wee section for adding your sentiment at the bottom. So that's all ready to go. We've got that out of the way. We'll pop it in with the snowman. We'll just get this, no, I'll tell you what, we'll do the card and I'll get this out on the road so I can put my inky mat down. So you need your 8-inch side and just score it at 1 inch and 2 inch, and just spin it round and score at 1 inch and 2 inch. Excuse me. And this is going to fold this way. So just score that, and this wee one scores outwards. And that gives you that nice wee bridge fold. So same again, in and out. Like, it's so basic, but it does make it that wee bit different sitting up in the fireplace or the sideboard, wherever you put it. So we'll want to decorate the pieces to go on that. And as you can see in my card, I've inked around the DSP rather than just leaving it plain. So we're going to do that now. And you need 4 wee pieces, and they're going to measure 3 6/8 long by, 6/8 long by 4 inches. 6/8 inch wide, oh my goodness. 6/8 wide by 4 inches. I'm going to get my wee plastic inky sheet so that I can do my inking without making a mess. And you need your Bermuda Bay. I only have the wee tiny one, but it works okay. And you want to be inking round all those just to give it a wee bit of depth. But where this one goes here, we're only going to ink around here, here, and here. We're going to leave this one open, and on this one, we're going to leave this one open, just to get, give it a brightness coming in the corners. So we'll start with this one. ink it up, take your wee bit off and just go quickly around your edges. I am so addicted to doing inking up now that I just can't stop myself. Every flipping card I make, I'm doing it. So you'll see why if you have a wee go yourself. It is so relaxing. So do that on all four. This one you're going to do down this side, and that'll be one side, and do the same opposites inking up on those ones until you're happy with what you have. So we've got those all done. So now we want to do a wee bit of stamping. As you can see in this, I have stamped a wee snowflake, and I've also stamped the berries. So we'll start with the snowflakes, and it's just the wee tiny, where to put my stamps. I'm using this wee selection of stamps here. Whoops. And we're doing it in the Bermuda Bay, but we're going to stamp off so we'll get a very light version of it, as it is a very bold colour. You could nearly stamp off twice. We're just doing a very faint. It's too faint, isn't it? I'll just go over that and off stamp it once then, and that should keep us right. Yeah, that's nice enough, isn't it? So you're going to do that the whole way around. Just ink up, stamp off, and remember to turn your stamp so it's not the same design the whole way up. So continue and do that on all four strips. So now we have all our wee snowflakes done. We want to move on and do our berries now. And we're just putting the berries, the outline of the berry first, and we're using Memento, and we're just doing it at the very top of each of those strips. And make sure you have them sitting the way that you're going to glue them onto your thing. You don't need to ink up the whole surface, as we're only using a bit of it. So just decide what you want to see there and stamp it off. I love this poinsettia petal set. It is so beautiful. I didn't even buy the dies for it, and I wish I had it, but I can cut around some of the flowers if I need to. I haven't actually made the flowers up. I've been busy using the berries. It's so beautiful. When you see the next part done, you'll understand. So that's those four done. We're going to move that and put our wee berry stamp on. And I'm using for it, excuse me, cherry cobbler. It's a lovely deep red. I think it just contrasts with the blue perfectly. So you want to ink those up. And then those two usually match up to these two. So arrange your stamp that it goes onto those and sits on the other ones. And it just stamps the center. I'm a wee bit off there, but it actually doesn't matter when you do it. You really need to be right over the top of it. I don't want to be knocking the camera on my head. So just keep continuing with those. Line it up best you can. And it just gives that lovely deep cherry red look. It's lovely. And you could add Wink of Stella or whatever if you want to these. Just leave them as is. And that's the last one. And there you have those ready. So I can now I'll give this a wash, because I'm sure I'll get it all over my fingers and then all over my card. So that's us finished with those colours. We'll get them out of the way. We'll stick these to our card, and that'll be those out of the way, and then we'll start on the big one. So just get your glue and strip of glue. And just stick those on in the order that you created them, so they're sitting nicely with the shaded end on the both outer ends. So Just do that till you've all 4 in. So that's them all in place, so we're more or less decorated there. So now you want to get your piece of card that you're using, which should fit nicely in here. I'm using a very heavy based watercolor card. It's from Sheena Douglas. So that's what I'm popping in there, and that'll be for my scene. So you want to start off by getting yourself a 1.5 inch circle, and that is going to be the center part of your for your moon. Lost myself there. So we want to do yellow in the inside of it when we take it off, and we don't want to do blue on the outside. We're just going to use our matching blue. Where did my other wee brush go? What did I do with you? Can't find it at all. And it's sitting there in front of me. Get your glue out of the way, woman. So again, get yourself a wee scrap or whatever to take some ink off, and we're just going to ink this up. And we're going to make sure that's where you want it and just go round the outside of it. You can always set it back if you're not happy with the shade you've got. And that gives you your nice moon setting. And then we're going to go around the edges of the card just to add a wee bit of atmosphere around there. You can deepen this up later at a later stage. This is just to give you an idea of the colours you're going for. You can use deeper shades of blue if you want to add more atmosphere or nighttime look or whatever you want to go for yourself. Now in this part here, I added some like a wee scene nearly, and I wanted to leave it. If you use one of your wee pre-cut snowmen, you'll know where he's going to land, and you sort of need a base for him to stand on, so I think that would do him. So I'm going to keep it here and just go over the edges, round wee circles just over the edges. This is just a piece of torn paper, copy paper, just torn to make it sort of give it sort of mountainy hills look. You can just lift it, and if you're happy then you know that's fine. And then what you want to do is move that so you've got a different look down below it. Just reposition, ink it up again. Check, and that's not too bad. So that gives it a nice slick wee hilly base. So you want to go inside with well, you want your snowman on, don't you? I'm just going to actually stamp him now, just in memento, and I'm not going to stamp this end of it if I can help it, because I really just want him and no ground and no snow either. So what we'll put on, we're going to have to rub off again. So I'm just using the corner point of the ink pad. Just make sure you've got all of them in that you do want. And then go in with the corner of your chamois, just roll it into a corner and take away any wee pieces that you really don't want. Give them a good wipe. You don't want it sort of has a wee bit that we don't want, and we definitely don't want any of these. If they come out very faint, that's not so bad because I'm actually over stamping with them. that seems that you just want your wee snowman and nothing else. So we're going to go ahead and try and get him where I want him. I just want his nose going into the the moon section. Well, that's fairly good. Not too bad. It's a few wee faint marks, but as I say, we're going over it now with the wee snowy section. So that can be left. You want a bit of yellow now. I've got a yellow here. And I'm going to use So Saffron. And I'm just giving the moon a wee bit of colour. Just a wee bit. Rather than leaving it just plain. You can add more if you feel like it, which I think I will. And that just gives a nice wee glow to the light. So now we'll want to go in with basic grey. And we're going to use the wee tiny set of stamps out of that colour. Ink them up in the basic grey, but stamp them off. Just double check that you've got them nice and faint. Stamp off once, and then we're just going to put it here and there like he's dancing in the snow, but they're going to be so light. They're not coming out as light, or a wee bit darker. I would like them a wee bit darker, but they're not coming out, but you know, it is faint snow. Stamp that up again. And just continue that all about until you're happy yourself. You can hardly see that, but I will show you when I've got it all done. Right, that's it all done. I decided to go back in with just the full grey. I don't know what, I must have used a very different colour for that, but I didn't like that it was coming out too pale from it. So that's the wee bit of stamping around there, and you can add your Wink of Stella to that as well. So now we're going to go back in with our cherry outline again, or berry outline I suppose, and just ink it up. Get yourself, excuse me, a piece of scrap paper underneath, couldn't get that out either, and just begin to stamp those berries all around the edge, just varying where they land, so they're just sort of like overhanging. And just keep going until you're fairly happy. And I'm going to go right down the sides and along the bottom as well, just because I did the last one. So now we're back. We have followed that design the whole way around, just turning it around just to suit. It's like we're peeping through a wee cherry bush or berry bush to see what the snowman is up to. So now we want to ink up the berries just to finish off that nice design, and just follow along. And remember, those two berries are the top of the branch all the time, so if you match those two up, you should be set. So just go in with your berry stamp and just continue the whole way around again until you've all your berries filled in. So with all that coloured in, all your berries done, go in with an orange marker, pencil, pen, whatever, and give him some colour into his wee nose. Oops. Use a wee bit of blusher on his cheeks there. You can go in with a wee bit of Pooh Party, just to add a wee bit of depth to him. Just a bit of shadow really, is nothing much to it. And then you want to add some more depth to your outer frame, just to give it more depth really, to make it stand out. And you can go in with a different colour or stick to your same colour, but really go to town on it this time. So you want to work each patch until it comes up really deep. It really takes a bit of time, just work it in there. You're okay to go for those berries. You can see the difference that makes. It really adds some depth to it. Just continue doing that until you're happy. Now that's him all the whole way around. Now I've noticed he's not particularly grounded there, so I want to use the wee sheet again and just sort of give him a bit where he's to show he's standing on something rather than floating in the air, you know. So just give it a wee scrub across. And don't move it, but look, you see that gives him a wee bit more, like he's actually standing on a wee mound rather than just floating in the air. So that's him more or less finished. Where you could go back in with your moon patch and give that more depth if you felt like it. Entirely up to yourself, you know, depends on how dark you can go in, as I say, with a darker colour. But don't rush it like this, so you'll be sorry. So it does give it a wee bit more depth. So what we need to move on to now is, oh, just stuck my fingers in that. Get yourself a chamois if you're messy like me. So he will be going into this section of the card, and you can see it tones in beautifully. So I'm just going to stick him with wet glue. I don't want him coming off with the Christmas heat in the house and whatever. So I'm making sure he's well glued. Just center that where you're happy. You can actually bring it down and level it up with your paper at either side. So that's him. So now we need our wee snowy bit over this. And I have got a piece of card which will fit across here. So we can go ahead and just tear it. And give yourself wee mounds. And have a look at it, and if you need to make any adjustments, if you think it's too high for him, you can't really see him, tear off another bit just. And keep those bits, they're great for doing your mountain scenes. So that could sit there all right, and it gives you more of a view of the wee snowman behind. It hasn't left me much room for making but we'll do something with it. We'll just ink it up some road just to give it a wee bit of depth. So just use your same wee cut off there that you have and ink it up. And do the same over here. Just bring that into that other one. Make it one piece. And that should do you all right. If you leave that and stick it in place, then we can add our sentiment and our wee snowman. So what you want to do is put glue for this side to glue on this, so you're just putting glue behind here. If you lay that out flat, you'll know how high you're going to go with it. And you're just putting it on the one panel. And if you use that glue, you can rub off any excess. So you want that right down so there's no none of the card showing. Just make sure you've got it nice and straight. Slipping about on too much. So that seems okay. So we want to lift that up, put glue on this section. And then just fold that in and set this one down on top. And again, manipulate it so you're not showing any at the bottom. Getting glue everywhere as usual. So now's the time to move any excess off and make sure you're happy with where it's sitting before it takes. So I'm happy enough with that. Hopefully that will dry pretty quick from it. Just check it out. Oh, it's still swimming about on me, isn't it? I'm going to get all inky fingers over, so there, it's sort of sitting all right. So we'll go ahead and put our sentiment and wee snowman. So the snowman, I went ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. I just stamped, cut around them and give them a wee bit of colour, and I'll add some thing, and I want him sitting on a wee bit of snow again. Maybe there. And the same with this boy. And then you can run your Wink of Stella pen or glitter glue or whatever you use for adding your snow texture along there, just to give it more depth. Again, put him where he's sitting on the snow. And then we're just going to stick this here. And we could add it with a dimensional. Oops. Just one along the bottom. And keep it sort of central. Let it snow. So, pretty glad that worked out okay for me. And as I say, it folds nice and flat for going into your post. So there we have it, two nice cards, two different colorways. So just go with whatever suits you, whatever you have in your stock, and just have fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you'll catch me again next week. Bye.